Fairies, welcome back to my channel. I am eca.fairy and in today's video we are going to be rating my extensive eye palette collection. You are going to see some classics in here, but also some palettes that maybe you haven't thought of purchasing or that you haven't heard about in a really long while. This is going to be a delight for any makeup lover, so let's get into it. I'm going to start pretty random, but with this palette from Kat Von D that I have been using quite a lot lately actually. And by the way, most of my rating is actually going to be focused on how much I can actually use the palette, as in how much I reach for it, how many looks it allows me to create, and how inspired I feel about it, let's say. And about this palette, at first I had kind of mixed feelings because these are the shades. And as you can see, yeah, it's not exactly my usual color palette. I really gravitate towards more neutral colors, pinks and browns, and maybe that used to be all, let's say. But actually I grew to really adore this palette in the last few months actually, because I am reaching for so many colorful looks lately. I feel so inspired to create and use these colorful shimmers here that I used to be so like afraid of in a way. It does also have some really nice base colors which are neutral, and I just love the way these create a very basic base, a very neutral base, and then you can really have fun with the colors, with the shimmery colors. It does have a bit of fallout, especially in these ones. Like, these are doing more okay, but these ones are creating a bit of fallout. All in all, I absolutely love this palette because it also has these really cool shades here, and they are just the thing when you want to create a shimmery look also using these. So basically I will go in with these ones and then use the shimmers, like the really dark cool toned shimmers together. And actually I know that you're not supposed to apply shimmer on the second half of your eyelid, so basically on the outer half of your eyelid or in your outer corner, but for example this look was created like that. I used these two here in the inner corner to create the base, and then I went in with this blue which is shimmery and has some like gold-ish particles in it, and it was the best decision ever. I got so many compliments on it, even in real life actually, which doesn't really happen to me. I mostly get compliments online, but I actually got a compliment from a girl that I didn't even know. I'm going to give the Edge of Reality a 9 out of 10 because of the cardboard packaging, because I also wanted to mention that this is cardboard and you're actually supposed to throw it out after you're done with doing your makeup. Like, this is removable, but I don't think I want to try to remove it. Anyways, it's removable and you're supposed to recycle the whole thing, and while I do appreciate the environmental concerns of them when they created this palette and this packaging, I just feel like it's not quite practical because, as you can see, it gets stained really easily, which I don't like. It feels just a bit cheap in my opinion, because it just feels like it could break any second, and it's so like it's cardboard. Like, you don't know anything about makeup, you don't know anything about KVD, and you also, like, for example, have no idea what kind of really amazing looks you can create with this color selection here. I just feel like you wouldn't buy this because it looks cheap, and you wouldn't be able to tell that, yeah, this is an actually pretty high-end makeup palette actually, and the price definitely kind of like confirms that. So all in all, a 9 out of 10 because I just love the color selection. I feel like it's one of the best color selections in all the palettes that I own, and I kind of only own pretty basic palettes when it comes to color selections, so this one just takes all of them in that category. Next, we are going to be talking about one of my most prized possessions, which is this Too Faced Peachy Matte. I was in high school when I got this. I still use it even to this day. However, because Too Faced unfortunately got them discontinued, and I want to scream and cry honestly, because why would you do that? Like, we all used to love this classic Too Faced palettes, and I'm not saying that the new ones aren't like really pretty and stuff, but these were it, and we want these back. So basically I'm never throwing this out. I don't care if it expires, I am going to use this forever. As you can see, it's like pretty much in pristine condition because of how well I kept it, and I actually use this quite a lot. However, the most of the shades don't really look like I've really gotten into them, but that's just because it's really pigmented, and this is one of the first palettes that actually helped me learn how to do my makeup, because before this I used to use pretty much drugstore eye makeup, and it was like, drugstore is okay, but what made me actually learn was this kind of higher end palette. I love every single thing about this palette, besides the fact that it was one of my rocks when I started doing makeup. It was the formula that actually helped me to learn to blend correctly and to experiment with my looks. And back then I used to be really obsessed with peachy eyeshadow for some reason. It didn't necessarily used to be that trendy, however I just remember being so obsessed with it. And before purchasing this palette I actually tried other ones. I can't really remember now. Unfortunately in this video I'm not going to be able to include all the palettes that I've ever owned, even if I tried, because some of them I had to throw out like a few years ago. Back to this one, everything about it is perfection, and I just don't understand how Too Faced could ever discontinue something so perfect, because everything, like the packaging, it has two little peaches here, like adorable. Then you open it, peach scented. I actually think that this palette is what kicked off my peach obsession, because right now I am literally obsessed with peach scented products, and I have been for quite a long time, and I keep looking for peach scented lip balms and so on. Laneige has the peach scented lip mask, the sleeping lip mask. However, I just want it to be a full-size mask, like please, because the one that I got is extremely small. If you guys know any, and I mean any, products that smell like peaches, do let me know down in the comment section. I am desperate. Color selection is immaculate. The names, immaculate choices. The way these blend together, out of this world. This is an 11 out of 10, and maybe an even a 12 out of 10, because it just breaks my heart that this is no longer available for purchase. And I just can't even explain to you how many looks you can do with this palette, because you have like the browns here, and this can actually be a separate look. And then you have these colors, like the really light peachy stuff, and then you can also do darker peach. Then you also have the really dark colors here that can create like a sultry, like darker eyeshadow, like a smoky eye but a warm toned one. This is just perfect. I love her. And actually from this video I think it's my oldest palette. I'm pretty sure that that is my oldest palette. And now we are going to go to my newest one, which is Venus by Lime Crime. And guys, this used to be the it palette. We all know that. If you've been around 2015, 2016 makeup YouTube era, you know that everybody had this, everybody was using Lime Crime in general, and I was just so obsessed. However, they weren't available in my country, and there was a really long like period of time in which I couldn't purchase them, and then I kind of gave up. And then years ago, I think, like, but not more than 2, maybe even 1.5 or so, I found this, and I was like, instantly, like not even questioning price or anything, this came home with me. And this is actually one of my least used palettes. As you can see, it's pretty much like some of the shades I haven't even gotten into them yet. I don't know why. Maybe because this palette has such a like holy place in my head. I'm just so like scared of using it. I just don't know why, but I really do need to get back into my experimental phase with makeup and just use this up to its full potential, because I've only been using it to complete other looks, and obviously that's not doing it justice. However, I am lucky to be able to own this because it used to be one of my dreams. This was such a full circle moment for me, and actually being able to talk to you about it on YouTube is again a full circle moment for me. However, maybe controversial, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10 because I don't really reach for it that often. As I was saying, I reach for it in order to complete other looks, but I haven't tried doing a full look with it on its own, and I just feel like, again, I'm not doing it justice. However, I can't rate it a 10 out of 10 because of that. Even though it would be a 10 out of 10 because the formula is also really great and the colors are extremely pigmented. So when it comes to the quality of the palette, it's definitely a 10 out of 10. But in my collection, it's going to be a 9 out of 10 just because I don't know, it's just something that's stopping me or making me reach for other palettes first, and I don't know. But if you guys are interested, I'm definitely going to make a full tutorial using this Lime Crime Venus because that would be like really exciting for me as well and so nostalgic. Next up, we are going to be talking about Tarte Lil Toasted. This I actually forgot I had this because I haven't reached for it in more than 1 year. And when I got this palette, I used to be really obsessed with it. It's pretty used, like, compared to my other ones. I mean, it's not like I didn't hit the pan on any of these. However, it's pretty used. What I don't like about it and why I'm not reaching for it, like, honestly, I don't even know I'm not reaching for it almost at all because these shades look really promising to me right now, is the fact that I've really moved on from warm toned eyeshadow, and this is what this palette is. Just warm tones, like extremely warm tones, and obviously that's the point of the color selection. However, it just doesn't feel that wow to me. I feel like Tarte has better palettes, and honestly I would choose differently if I could now. However, this brown, I use this so much, but you can't really see because the colors, like, so much product in here. I don't think you can actually hit pan on any of these because it's so much, like, they are, as you can see, so big, and that's great. That's very anti-inflation behavior because I bought this way before inflation and so on. But in my head, I just feel like this is too much product and you're never actually going to get to using like all of the shades. I would have preferred more shades and less product of each in order to actually be able to experiment more. The pigment, from what I remember, is pretty okay. The warmth is really there, which is what kind of turns me off right now. As I was saying, I just really wish to be able to try other palettes from Tarte as well, because this color selection is not necessarily speaking to me that much anymore. However, the quality is in fact really great. This is going to be a 7 out of 10 because, as I was saying, I'm not using it almost at all. Like, I haven't used it in over a year, which speaks a lot about it. However, if you want to diversify your makeup collection, if you want to diversify the shades that you have, this is definitely a really good addition because you can do so many looks with it on its own. It also has these shimmers. I'm particularly not a fan of them. I don't like these like really warm shimmers here. However, this one is pretty okay, and the matte shades are really great as well. So if you are a warm toned person or you like warm toned makeup, this is an extremely good choice for you. I bet you would love this. However, I'm not one of those people, so a 7 out of 10. I'm sorry, Tarte. I really think that I kept my best 3 palettes for last. Somehow, maybe unconsciously did that. However, we're going to start with, this is the set, but I'm going to talk about it as a full palette. The Let It Snow Globes by Too Faced, which is actually, yeah, this is actually the most recent palette that I'm showcasing in this video, because I just remembered I got this for Christmas last year. So I've had it for a year and a few months. This was one of the best gifts that I have ever received. I got this from my boyfriend and I just love this because I'm a huge Too Faced fan, and this is exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about old Too Faced or vintage vibes Too Faced. This is just extremely them. And if you've been around on my channel, you know how many looks I got to do with these palettes. You can find them in the Christmas playlist, in the makeup playlist. So if you're feeling like watching some Christmas content ever, just save that playlist and make sure to also refer to it when Christmas is approaching. However, these are the palettes. Like, the packaging is a 10 out of 10. This is exactly what I'm looking for in a palette. This, like, I want it to look extremely pretty and girly and to make me feel like a princess. And the color selections on each of them, so I feel like you can really do like a full look with just each of them. As I proved in my videos, you can actually do multiple looks like with each of the color selections. However, also together I feel like they work extremely well. This is my favorite one from the three of them, obviously, because it's pink. But what I also love about it is that it's not just the like browns, like the very neutral, but you also have like this blue, like that's just great. And also one of the best shades is this one, Gumdrop. Like, I am obsessed. Like, this is just perfect. And unfortunately it's not this intense on the eye though, it's a bit more washed out, just a bit. However, still great, still delivering what it's supposed to deliver. And these are going to be 10 out of 10, obviously, because they are just perfect. They are the Christmas palettes out of my dreams, and I feel like they are extremely special to me because they actually give me this winter feel, this cozy Christmas vibe when I'm using them, hence why I can only use them in the Christmas season, because otherwise I just feel a bit inadequate using them. It's like, I don't know, drinking out of your Christmas mugs in June or something. The drawings on them, like the art, the names, the every single detail is perfect. I feel like a fairy created these. I feel like they are out of the Nutcracker or something magical. They are literally everything that they are supposed to be, being so magical, so vintage, so whimsical in a way. And now we are down to two of my most prized possessions in general, not just of my most prized palettes, because can't buy any of them anymore, and I am heartbroken over this every time I remember. First, I'm going to talk about the not so obvious one that I think you haven't been really able to see it on my YouTube channel either, because I really cherish this a lot. I don't avoid using it, I just really keep it for the most special occasions, because I'm terrified of the moment that it's going to run out. I'm terrified of the fact that we are never going to be able to go back to like 2017 or something, when holographic eyeshadow and holographic makeup and holographic nail polish used to be everything. And brands are probably not going to be creating this sort of eyeshadow properties a really long time from now, because now we are so focused on, I don't even know what's trendy anymore. I just feel like we are being shown random stuff that we don't exactly love. That's another discussion. I'm extremely nostalgic for that specific makeup era. I feel like that was top, like the best moment to be in makeup, and I'm so thankful that I actually got into makeup back then and I got to experiment with these products. And I'm talking about the Alchemist palette by Kat Von D. I know that a lot of people have so like unfairly criticized this. I remember wanting to buy, and some girls told me like, yeah, don't get it, it's bad, it's not doing what it's supposed to. Like, are you kidding me? These shimmers are so strong, so powerful, so subtle at the same time. I don't know what they did, and I know that a lot of people argued about the fact that this wasn't holographic because it's not. I remember the like differences, because I used to be so into this like holographic trend, and I know that in order for it to be holographic, it has to show all the colors in the rainbow. So if it's not doing that, then it's not holographic. However, I can't remember the name, like the actual, because these, like, yeah, they aren't holographic, they are only reflecting some of the colors, they aren't reflecting all of the colors of the rainbow. However, they were absolutely perfect in every of my makeup eras, create more intense looks, more simple looks, more whimsical looks, really dear to me in almost an emotional way. And I know that it's not normal to have such strong attachments for like a makeup palette. However, Kat Von D back then and this kind of product used to be everything. It used to have such a chokehold on us, and if you weren't there, you cannot understand. Like, if you weren't in the makeup scene back then, this is going to be really strange to you, and I know. However, if you were, I'm pretty sure that you can relate. I think that it's just almost useless for me to rate this. It's going to be obviously like an 11 out of 10. I wanted this for so long. I was able to buy it back then. It was so special and amazing to me. Last but not least is obviously my most used palette ever, my most reached for palette, my dearest friend when it comes to makeup, the palette that I have carried with me basically everywhere I went in the last few years, the Natural Eyes. You were obviously expecting that. Nobody was surprised, I know. I have kept this for last because it's literally the best thing that happened to me when it comes to makeup. I'm going to show it to you, I'm going to talk about it a little. However, if you've been around on my channel, you probably know every single color by heart by now. 100 out of 10. Too Faced, I feel like they poured every single magical and perfect thing about makeup in this palette. Goes so well with my skin tone, with my eyes, just goes so well with every single face makeup that I've done, with every single lip color that I have, with every single outfit. Like, I cannot envision a look, an occasion that I wouldn't be able to use this for. Like, obviously really colorful looks, no, because it's a neutral palette, but I'm talking about matching it to an outfit, matching it to an occasion, to a hairstyle, to a face makeup, and so on. This is everything you need. I got this really early in my makeup journey as well. One of my first higher end palettes, so not drugstore, even though before I used to have some drugstore palettes that were neutral. This beat them all. When I got this, I literally stopped using those altogether, and I just feel like this, as well as the Peachy Matte, they just embody everything that I need when it comes to makeup, because I need more than just the product. I need the specific vibe that comes with it. I need to feel girly and cute and like out of a movie when doing my makeup, and this is definitely doing that with this perfect packaging. I don't understand why Too Faced had to get rid of them. Not that I don't like the new collections, obviously, but the packaging will never be this girly, princess-like, fairy-like vibe. Like, this is just what I personally need. The color selection, as I was saying, is exactly what I need for my skin tone. These cool toned browns, these shimmers. You can probably do like hundreds of looks with these, because it's also about like the placement of the colors, so not just the colors that you combine. Obviously, I want this to come back. I want this to be a thing again. I want to see people doing tutorials with this palette again, and I want this to be the it again. Anyways, as you have probably noticed, most of these palettes were really big or on the higher end of the price point, as I was telling you in the beginning. So make sure to stay tuned for the next video, because there is actually going to be a part 2 in which we are going to be talking about smaller palettes or more affordable ones, and we are going to be rating them as well. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know down in the comment section if you have or had any of these and what rating would you give them, and I'll see you fairies next time with more palettes. Bye!